The Mariners were able to salvage one game out of what was a disastrous beginning to their 9-game road trip. Joe and I are going to talk about what the hell happened in Cleveland. Those first 2 games were just not pretty. Thankfully, Bryce Miller was able to help the team out in game 3. Then we're going to talk about September call-ups. Hey, it's September. Happy September to you guys. Happy Labor Day to you guys. September call-ups probably occurred today, and we're recording this on the 31st. So we don't actually know what the September call-ups are. This is just our predictions. We're going to talk about that. We'll give you guys our FanDuel favorites, and then we'll talk about the Tampa Bay Rays series starting on Monday. Thank you guys so much for watching episode 221 of the Hit It Here podcast, part of the Bleav Network and presented by FanDuel. And this is the Teachers Appreciation episode. Hey, all the teachers and all the students are, going back to school. Just don't forget to watch us, you know what I mean? Like when you're back at school, just, maybe like make on your lunch break or something, just like
make time video for us.
Yeah, just watch it. Joe, do you think that the way that this road trip has started, the Ichiro quote of, if I ever saw myself saying I'm excited to go to Cleveland, I'd punch myself in the face because I'm lying. Do you think that is very applicable to what we just watched over the last 3 days?
I think it's any American League Central road series has the potential to be that exact quote incarnate. And I'd be lying to you if I didn't say, or how do I word this? I don't want to say double negative. This series went exactly how I expected to, except for 2 of the 27 innings, I think. I thought that the first game was like pretty on brand. I felt like getting to Logan Allen, awesome. You did that in the first inning. And then, of course, the offense took the rest of the game off for the most part, and that's the problem. Now, the 8th and 9th inning of game 1 are the 2 innings that I would say that did not go how I expected it to in this series. I did a guide to the Mariners playoff push whatever video where I broke down every series and kind of what my expectations were. I said that they would go 2-1 in this series and that they would lose the Gavin Williams start, which was the second game. If 8th and 9th inning goes exactly how they're supposed to with Matt Brash and Andres Munoz in game 1, 2-1 in this series, and you lose the Gavin Williams start is exactly what would have happened. But unfortunately, that was not the case because Brash lets in a run, Munoz lets in 2 at the end of the game, but we know that there was a very big error from Randy Arozarena, the throw in, and then maybe Cal misfielded it. Like, it was a bunch of stuff, but game 1, it's a gut punching loss and the exact opposite way that you wanted that game to end, where I think George pitched well enough. I mean, you stretch him for 7, kind of a risky 7th inning, a little bit of a risky 7th inning. I mean, the runs started coming for the Guardians late in this game. And that's when they started to crawl back after the Mariners offense, took innings 2 through whatever off, it felt like, on the offensive side. So this Guardian series, it wasn't pretty, but it's not that I wasn't expecting it to be pretty regardless, though.
Yeah, game 1, I feel like comes down to, and this is a game that neither of us really got to watch. So game 1, there are certain things people were talking about in stream that night that I'm like, dog, I have no idea what you're talking about. But in game 1, specifically, I think it comes down to 2 plays, both of which involve Randy Arozarena.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned it already. The big one that tied the game up was the throw in from Randy. He had to like range over and grab it and throw it like an infielder, and it just hit the cut of the grass and shot off to the right. If it was an inch to the right or an inch to the left, that ball is straight to Cal and runners out. But it hit the cut of the grass and shot off in the wrong direction. That's just bad luck, in my opinion. Like that, yeah, people are like, oh, Randy's lazy. He should have made a better throw. I'm like, do you not realize he was running like a shortstop out there trying to throw to home? That's not a thing. That's not how that works. And the other play was him trying to stretch a double into a triple where Jose Ramirez is very clearly blocking the base. Randy would have been safe had his arm not gotten hooked around Jose Ramirez's leg. Those 2 plays specifically stand out in my head, but you're right. In the end, it comes down to Matt Brash not being able to locate one bit. He walked 2 in this outing. And then Andres, man, I mean, just some bad luck. I mean, he gave up the double, and then that play to Randy was probably like 40 miles an hour off the bat
Yep.
over the third baseman. The air on Randy advances the runner to third, the winning run to third, and then a sac fly to center field scores that runner. Like, yes, Andres was not doing his he didn't do his job, but it's just a lot of bad luck happened in that inning, in my opinion. And we know that Andres hasn't been lights out lately. He was in game 3, which is
Yeah.
good. The whole bullpen was, but he has not been that guy over the past, I don't know, few weeks, it feels like. And in game 2, with Logan Gilbert on the mound, you feel good. Logan's coming off of a 13 strikeout, performance. And Gavin Williams, the Mariners have performed well against good starting pitching. But in the end, Gavin Williams is still a very good starting pitcher, and he's having a great year. He's kind of been hit around a little bit more recently, but nonetheless, still a good pitcher. And the Mariners, Joe, really did struggle against Williams.
Yeah, he was just overpowering them with the fastball at the top of the zone, and then the big bender, which is a great put out pitch for him to play around with, where he just like puts it on the back foot for left-handed batters. Naylor, check swing, did not look pretty in that at bat. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 8 Ks for Gavin Williams. And this one out duels Logan Gilbert, who Gilbert still had a quality start. 6 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned, 2 walks, 6 Ks. Like, not a bad start by any means, but Logan did get out-dueled here. And like I said, this was the start I expected them to lose. This is the game that I expected them to lose, regardless of Logan Gilbert on the mound. Gavin Williams has been good in the month of August, and he's been great, I'd say, from May onward. He's been he's been the best starter on the Guardians pitching staff, although a lot of them are underperforming. But Gavin Williams, and we know the arm talent in Cleveland is usually always really good. So coming into this game, I was like, yep, this is one where you're going to have to probably get to the bullpen, which the Guardians have a very good bullpen, but the Mariners did try. I mean, a solo shot from Polo off of Gavin Williams, Julio, 2-run absolute tank in the 8th, but as soon as the Mariners got one back, Caleb Ferguson gave it right back, unfortunately. Two quick outs in the 7th, and then immediately you can't get it out. And it's unbelievably frustrating, and I understand that you probably feel that a lot more than me, as you are the residential Caleb Ferguson denier, it seems like at this point. Maybe rightfully so. The underwhelmingness, but this game, you lose a 1-run game to Cleveland, and you just can't get to Cade Smith once he enters. You got to Hunter Gaddis, shout out Julio, but beyond that, it's an uphill battle always against Cleveland, and when it comes to the bullpen.
There's also one specific play in this game that really stands out in my head as well. A surefire double to the gap in left center field that Stephen Kwan just makes an insane diving play on that would have played it a run. There was runner on first at that point. Instead, he catches that ball somehow. He's a Gold Glover for a reason, and it ends up, being the difference in this game, it felt like. Man, Caleb Ferguson. I hope that I never have to see that man throw a leverage inning again for the Seattle Mariners. He shouldn't be allowed to. He should be relegated to garbage time. He's bad, and he has been horrible with the Mariners. What's his ERA with the Mariners now? Like 5?
Probably.
He's bad. Like, I don't understand how you just needed him to come over to be the guy that he was in Pittsburgh. And he's not that. He's not even close. His stats now compared to what they were in Pittsburgh, not even in the same ballpark. And I simply don't understand where the disconnect is for him. But yeah, I mean, at this point, the bullpen needs to be the back 4 need to be Bizardo, Spire, Brash, and Munoz. That needs to be the back 4. Mm-hmm. Anyone else, and you're doing it wrong.
Yeah,
plain and simple.
I will say, maybe again, I don't want to play too much devil's advocate, because I agree that Ferguson just simply needs to pitch better. He is posting a 3.25 BABIP in the Mariners uniform, which is a recipe for disaster. His ERA is at 4.5, not quite at 5, but it probably feels like it should be at 6 with the way that those runs, how much weight those runs really do carry. But the Mariners bullpen, not the best in the first 2 games, but like you mentioned, leading into this, the final game, they pitched lights out. 3 innings covered by the back end of the pen in the final game, and did not allow a hit. This game overall, on the pitching side, was very good. This is Bryce Miller's best start of the season. 6 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned, one walk, 3 strikeouts. Not a lot to show for in the strikeout department, but regardless, I mean, 6 innings, you'll take it. And especially the earned runs. And again, the Cleveland Guardians, a bad offensive team. This is the Mariners pitching staff, I think all but 2 or 3 innings did their job in this series. For them, like without a lot of, I think, pushback from me. It's just those 3 innings decided the fate of 2 games. And that's, how fickle baseball can be sometimes. But what was it? Schneemann, his first home run of the year. Awesome. Like, it's just funny. Just like, why not at this point? Just keep rubbing salt in the wound. But ultimately, the 2-run home run that Miller did give up there didn't matter because Mariners scored 2 in the 5th and 2 in the 6th. Randy, an absolute no-doubter in the 5th. And then a pretty season-saving call, potentially. A infield single that scores 2 with the bases loaded. Julio Rodriguez called safe, challenge not overturned. So, I mean, could that call have saved the season? It's very possible.
Yeah, I want to talk about the pitching really quick because this series, every single starter gave you a quality start. That is what they have to do the rest of the season. That has to happen. If it doesn't happen, you're cooked. Bryce Miller gave up that 2-run home run to Schneemann, and then the Mariners pitching staff set down the next 19 hitters in a row. It was what you saw in this game specifically from the Mariners. That is what this team is supposed to be built on. Gabe Spire comes in, strikes out 2 in an inning's worth of work. Matt Brash strikes out 1. Munoz comes in, strikes out 2. That's what's supposed to happen with how this team is built. You talked about Julio Rodriguez. This entire series came down to a matter of inches. Every single game came down to a matter of inches. And maybe none more so than game 3, where you mentioned bases are loaded, 3-2 count. Runners are going on the pitch. And Julio grounds the ball back up the middle. I mean, it's a tough play. Julio, we know, is very fast. Heads up base running from Cole Young. And, of course, Christopher Negron over there waving him on, telling him to keep coming home. And Cole Young scores. That play is not overturned. I know Tanner Bybee was like in awe that wasn't overturned. I'm like, sorry, buddy. They called him safe. Had they called him out on the field, he would have been out.
Yeah.
After the review.
Whatever call they made on the field, almost impossible to overturn that, which again benefits the Mariners heavily in that situation.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of those ones. I was driving home on my lunch from work and I was listening to it and I'm like, what is happening? Like, what do you mean? Like they're like questioning this. Oh, I thought maybe he dropped the ball. No, I watched the video. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like that was about as close as you could possibly get it. So unfortunate that, yes, the Mariners played poorly. The Mariners let the baseball gods take control of this series. Whereas if the Mariners would have just gone out there and done what we think we know they can do, it wouldn't have happened. Something about this team on the road, Joe, has been really bad. Like, they have not won a road series since the sweep of Detroit right before the All-Star break. That's bad. That's really bad. And there are a few key guys that I want to call out here.
Get in on them.
Cole Young, in his last 30 games, is hitting 175, 295, 445. Bad slash line for Cole. I know he's just a young guy. He's just
a baby.
He's just a wee baby. JP Crawford, we know he's slowed down quite a bit, hitting 221, 289, 317 over his last 30. And then the golden child, Cal Raleigh, over his last 30 games, is hitting 173, 295, 445.
Yikes.
You have so when you look at the standings, you're 3 games up on Kansas City. They lost today. You're 3 games behind the Astros. You have 3 games versus Kansas City on the road. I'm sorry, 2 back of the Astros. You're right. The Astros lost today. You have 3 games in Kansas City on the next road trip, and then 3 games in Houston. If this team is playing this bad of baseball on the road during that trip, the season is over. Figure it out. I should make a shirt. Figure it out.
Figure it out.
Because if you
Man.
can't if you can't figure it out, then you're gonna be sitting your happy butts on the couch in October watching all the actual baseball teams go out there and play in the playoffs. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get the sentiment of like if you are playing bad baseball by the end, like when it really comes down to it, nitty gritty, like you need to win these series or else you are sitting at home in October. Like you cannot have this type of baseball be what the product that you're getting on the field. Of course, they can eliminate a lot of that if they just play really good for the next week and a half and don't have to necessarily worry about that. And that's probably the more ideal outcome is, they're sure the fate is, their fate is still in their hands against the Astros and the Royals during those two series. But if you say are 6-up on the Royals by some way, by the time you face them, you're probably feeling okay about how that series goes regardless.
Mm-hmm. I told myself going into game 3 that if the Mariners get swept by the Guardians, I am going ballistic on this podcast. And you know what? Thankfully, that didn't happen. I just wish, Joe, that we could delete the last, few weeks of road baseball. But hey, if you want to protect your privacy, then you can do that with today's sponsor, Delete Me. Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time where surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everybody vulnerable. Data brokers make a profit off your data. Your data is a commodity. Anyone on the web can buy your private details. This can lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, and harassment. But now you can protect your privacy with Delete Me. In fact, the New York Times Wirecutter has named Delete Me their top pick for data removal services. Now, as someone with an active online presence, obviously here at the Mariner Mojo channel, privacy is really important to me. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love hanging out with our community, but it's important for me to keep my private life, well, private. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Now at a special discount for our listeners. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan by texting HIT to 64,000. The only way to get 20% off is to text HIT to 64,000. That's HIT to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply, and thank you to Delete Me for sponsoring this episode.
Now, I know we're talking about deleting, but the good news is the Mariners are adding, and so are we. We're happy to announce the rest of the season. Also, into the postseason, Colton. 3 podcasts a week. The secondary episode likely will occur on the weekend, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, just depending on the way that scheduling lines up. But expect a 3rd episode of the Hit It Here podcast every week for the remainder of the season. And Colton, there's going to be 2 new faces added to the Mariners roster today that everyone's hearing this. 1 position player and 1 pitcher. Who do you think it will be? Is there like any fun picks? Not to discredit any of the names that we're about to say, but it's not the September call-ups of old, right? It is right. One guy. Like there's no 40-man roster expansion where the top prospects get to come up. There's very specific choices that are going to be made. And of course, we all know Mariners are playing with a man down with the Robles suspension. He'll be back by the 2nd game of the Braves series after serving his 7-game suspension. So the Mariners roster will be at 28 at that point. Keeping that in mind, is there, you have your outfield set with Robles, Canzone, and Rayleigh out and right, more than likely. What does the position player call-up look like for today?
I want it. So in a dream world, it would be Harry Ford and Tyler Cleveland. I think would be a lot of fun. I think that'd be fun. No? What do you think?
Got me acting up talking about Tyler Cleveland. Hello.
I think that'd be a lot of fun. I don't think that's going to be the case. And you mentioned the outfield is probably set. I think that the position player is either going to be Samad Taylor or Leo Rivas. I think more than likely those are you. Sounds like you might have someone else to talk about here. No.
Okay. I mean, it's just a guy that's been with the team the majority of the year compared to Samad and Leo. They've Samad had 5 games.
Williamson.
Incorrect. Samad 5 games. Leo had 30. Ben doesn't have the position versatility. There's the one-hand commander, Miles Mastrobuoni.
Oh yeah,
he's down there. He's in Tacoma. Point. So I think any of the 3 of Leo Rivas, Samad Taylor, or Miles Mastroboni makes sense for position versatility, and I think versatility off the bench, a guy that can go and steal a bag and pinch run or be a defensive replacement. I think all three of those guys could be viable options. It just depends on, I guess, what the Mariners value. Do they want to ride the hot hand? Do they want the guy with the most major league experience? Do they want the guy that has the most position versatility? Do they want a certain handedness? I'm not sure. And that's kind of, I think, where it'll just be kind of a dice roll of where we expect them to be. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think I'm okay. I'm happy with all three. If I had to rank them, I would want Leo, Miles, and then Samad. No discredit to Samad in any way, but I just think he would provide the least for the Major League club the rest of the way. I think Leo would provide a bunch of necessary middle infield help, and he's been the hottest bat of the three, I'd say. He had a very good July. Slash line in July for Leo was 395, 545, 530. It's cooled down a little bit into August, 294, 456 with a 500 slug, though. I mean, it's still almost a 1.0 OPS. He has been crushing it down in Tacoma. I think he is a surefire. Like, he also was good when he was up at the Major League Club, a 121 WRC plus. Sure, his 16% walk rate wasn't unsustainable, maybe, but he's still posting a 20% walk rate down in Tacoma. I think he has a very good shot. The thing that I think is the biggest detractor for him is he does have the least positional versatility. I think he's just middle infield and maybe like third base if you like really wanted to stretch it out. And I also think he probably has the least impact on the bases. I mean, he's 24 stolen bags down in Tacoma, but Samad, I mean, he can run with the best of them. And I assume Miles and Leo are probably similar as far as base stealing prowess, but
yeah, the only other person I think that's even worth mentioning is Ben Williamson. I don't think it's going to be Harry Ford. I just don't see the fit.
Ryan Blitz?
No, not just because he won't be healthy enough. Otherwise, yes.
Yeah.
I think that Ben Williamson makes sense as like a late inning defensive replacement for Gino when you're ahead, which sure, but I don't know if that's enough. That's worthy enough to have a roster spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe on days where you want to give Cal a rest day, you put Gino at DH and let Ben Williamson go play third base or something like that. There's certainly options there, but I would agree. I think it's going to be Leo Rivas or Miles Mastroboni more than likely. I don't know why I forgot Miles Mastroboni existed. On the pitching side of things, again, Tyler Cleveland. That do it for me.
You literally just said that to like tickle my fancy.
Yeah, a little bit. No, actually, somebody said it in stream the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I'm there. I don't remember who it was, but shout out to that person. I would assume, like, I don't think Sarin Lau can come back up yet.
I don't think so either.
Because he, was sent down recently. Emerson Hancock's already up, which surprised me. Troy Taylor's been terrible, so you're not going to go with Troy Taylor. Is it just Colin Snyder? Like, I don't know.
I will tell you this. Casey Legumina has pitched 4 scoreless outings in Tacoma since he got sent down. And that to me seems like the likeliest outcome is Casey Legumina. One, because he's still if I'm not mistaken, has an option where if he does get blown up, you can just send him down and then call up Kowar. You can send him down and call up Troy Taylor. Like, you have options in that situation. With Colin Snyder, you have to make a 40-man spot, and I don't know exactly how that works with September call-ups, but I imagine that would just create a different wrinkle. Granted, if they saw him as the right fit, maybe it doesn't fully matter, but yeah, I just think it's Casey Legumina. I don't want to say unfortunately, because that's a little disrespectful, but it's him. I mean, maybe Gregory Santos in 2 weeks if his bullpens are going well and he rehabs and it's good. Like, there's an interesting wrinkle with Santos there. He could come up in place of if Taylor Saucedo is still on the big league roster, or if Casey Legumina is not pitching well. Like, there are more fun names. Like, Tyler Cleveland's a really fun name, but I just think that they'll go with a guy that they've seen already in the bigs, because that feels like what they've done in years past.
They don't go with Tyler Cleveland. The front office officially has hashtag no balls.
Damn.
Thoughts? On the year, Tyler Cleveland in 37 games, 47 and 2/3 innings pitched, has a 0.94 ERA with 44 strikeouts and a .76 whip.
It's my goat right there.
He's in Double-A right now. That's usually where guys come from when they come up to the big leagues through the Mariner system. They usually don't go to Triple-A. He's what, 26? He's 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if not now, like, do you wait until next season? Like, I don't know. I just feel like if anybody can give you that weird arm angle that just catches you off guard out of nowhere, out of that ball, he doesn't have to pitch leverage innings for you. I don't think anybody you bring up in the September call-up portion is going to be someone who's going to really pitch leverage innings for you unless they have to.
Yeah.
And so Cleveland come up, get his feet wet, and just see if you have something with that funky arm angle. See if his success that he's had at Double-A can translate to the big leagues, because if it can, if he's that guy at the rest of the season and in the playoffs, the Mariners just found their secret weapon. And his name is Tyler Cleveland.
You said he's 25. He turns 26 on the 9th. Birthday boy call up? Like, celebrate, you know, your 26th birthday in the bigs. Listen, like you said, front office, maybe they don't have balls anymore. I don't know if they ever did, but Cleveland would be a fun name for sure.
So final prediction, just lay it on me. Is it
Rivas and
Leo
Legumina?
Rivas?
It's boring.
Legumina?
It's boring, but like,
I'm going Mastro and Cleveland. I've sold myself.
Yeah,
I've sold myself on Tyler Cleveland. I literally, like, I went to the used car salesman, which was me.
Mm-hmm.
I made that pitch to myself.
You slapped the top of the car and said, this mother can fit so many Tyler Clevelands in it, and then drove off the lot.
That's right. And I'm buying a Tyler Cleveland. Thank you so much. I think that should be the move, and send it, book it. This is going to be outdated in probably 15 hours or so.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Like,
which is pretty on brand.
That's pretty on brand for us, yeah. But hey, this is the beauty of, you know, recording things, having to edit. Not me, of course. Joe does all the editing, just so we're clear. Having to edit all that. That's the beauty of it, man. It's already outdated by the time it goes live. So, one thing that's outdated, Joe, is Cal Raleigh's chances to lead the MLB in home runs. And our FanDuel favorites, Cal Raleigh is now behind Kyle Schwarber. Cal's at a positive, or at a plus 105.
Mm-hmm.
Schwarber's at a negative 105. So obviously still, you know, neck and neck. But Schwarber, big 4 home run game the other day. Dude's insane. Dude is a monster. And yeah, is he going to win the National League MVP? Probably not. It's probably Shohei. But Kyle Schwarber, man, has been incredibly impressive in a contract year. And with how Cal's been struggling, even though Cal has the most home runs ever by a catcher, with how much Cal's been struggling, I think it might be Schwarber that takes the cake.
This isn't the first time Schwarber's done something like this either, so I can definitely see why the odds would shift in that way. Minus 105 and plus 105, those are honestly close enough to kind of, they're basically a push. They're essentially even odds. It's basically a coin flip at this point. But giving the edge to Kyle Schwarber, a guy that's been there, done that a bit more than Cal Raleigh as far as the home run department is concerned, is not surprising to me in the slightest in that situation. I don't want to go too far ahead because usually we cover divisions and league winners and stuff like that. So if you're okay with it, I'll go through those quickly. I do want to talk about the game today specifically.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting. Or maybe there's just something that just makes sense to me. American League West, Mariners are at plus 115, Astros at minus 145. I think that makes sense with the way that the last couple of weeks have gone. Astros still in the driver's seat there, do control their fate. Similar to the Mariners, though. If the Mariners go down into Houston and they sweep the Astros by some grace of God, of course, those odds then will shift dramatically depending on what the next week and a half look like, too. But I think still having plus money for the Mariners for the American League West is it's still a decent chance. We're not quite, you know, over the hump and down the hill yet. You know what I mean? We're not quite there yet. Did you hear my voice crack? Is that we made that face?
What?
It was it was a little like pitchy. It was kind of weird.
That's definitely not why I made that face.
Yeah, of course not. Yankees have been surging as of late. They currently have the best odds to win the World Series if they get there in the American League. It goes Yankees at plus 900, Tigers at plus 950, Blue Jays at plus 1,000, and the Mariners at plus 1,100. The American League West leading Astros are at plus 1,400. So again, if the Mariners get in, that's where they can make their money, is if they get in and they get hot at the right time. Like all it takes is just like a good, 2.5, 3 week stretch to really push deep into the playoffs. But specifically for the game on Monday, some of the thing, like the Mariners are the favorites. I think that makes sense with how poor the Rays have been in the second half. They're at minus 120, just as far as the Mariners money line is concerned. It's even like the over unders are always even, like minus 110, minus 105 usually. The over under set at 8.5. Shane Baz has an ERA of almost as an ERA of 8 in the month of August in 5 starts. Luis Castillo on the road has been atrocious. The fact that this line is not at 9.5, I think is crazy. I think that 8.5 is likely going to get pushed past because Baz has been awful. Castillo on the road's not great, and you're in a spring training facility. Like, it's a smaller dimension. Like, this to me screams over 8.5. Just throwing it out there. Not gambling advice, of course, and do it responsibly. But those are like the main takeaways for me for the game. It's just like the run total is just kind of like, now wait a minute. And of course, there are to hit a home runs, Cal at plus 230, Brandon Lau at plus 330, Gino at plus 340, Junior Caminero at plus 390, Randy at plus 400, and Julio at plus 430. Those are like the top 6. I think those all make sense. Cal, I think, has a good chance to homer in this series and maybe keep pace with Schwarber the rest of the way. He is still leading, but who knows for how long.
Yeah, I mean, Schwarber has the ability to do what he did the other day multiple times in his career. I wouldn't be shocked if, when it's all said and done, Schwarber has 3 games where he homered 4 times. Just because that's the kind of swing he has. That's the kind of power he has. We saw what he did in the home run swing off at the All-Star game. Mm-hmm. Like, that dude can just hit home runs on command. Now he's going to strike out a lot. And that's something, he's modern day Adam Dunn, but better.
Way better.
He's better Adam Dunn.
Yeah.
But I think that, that the series the games the rest of the way, I think that it's probably Schwarber. But tomorrow's game, or I guess Monday's game, I agree with you. I think it's going to be over 8.5 because, listen, I don't want to say that Shane Baz, with how bad he's been. Now, don't get me wrong. He has 150 strikeouts on the year. I don't want to say with Shane Baz that the Mariners are going to be able to handle him, but a right-handed pitcher in that ballpark, you're going to have the left-handed lineup in there. I think that, like, Canzone goes deep today.
He could hit a 550-foot bomb for all I know.
Oppo. Dude, he almost hit a 500-foot bomb to right center in AAA.
Yeah.
He's crazy. Against Shane Baz, only 2 guys have any at-bats against him. Solano has 2. He's batting 1,000. So, hey. Mm-hmm. And then Jorge Polanco has 1 at-bat, and he didn't get a hit. So, but versus Luis Castillo, man. The over might be over 8.5 just on the Rays side. Junior Caminero in 6 at-bats, 500 with a home run. Yandy Diaz in 12 at-bats has a home run. Nick Fortes has a home run versus Luis Castillo. Brandon Lau and Josh Lowe both have a home run versus Luis Castillo. There are 5 home runs in the lineup against Luis Castillo, and the most at-bats is Josh Lowe with 16.
I'm scared.
With how bad Luis has been on the road against a team that has seen him quite well, this feels like a recipe for disaster. And I hope, for the love of God, the month of August is over. Mm-hmm. All right. The worst month of Luis Castillo's career is always August, every single year. It's September, baby.
Just forget about it.
Luis Castillo's decent in September. Yeah, just forget about it. Figure it out on the road, Luis. Yeah. Figure it out.
We need him to, especially when the offense has a good chance against Baz to really separate themselves in this game. The Rays starting pitching is kind of middle of the road. ERA a little bit over 4. Their bullpen in general is one of the better ones in all of baseball. I think it's top 7. Have a 3.6-ish ERA as far as the bullpen is concerned, and that remains true or rings true for the month of August. There are, Garrett Clevenger, 11 games pitched, 39 batters faced, a 0 ERA in August. Edwin Uceta, I don't know how to pronounce it off the top of my head, 47 batters faced, a .75 ERA. Gabe Spire, an 8.82 ERA in August, 39 batters faced. Brian Baker for the Rays, a 1.5 ERA versus 41 batters in August. Like, the bullpen is good. And so getting to Boz early is going to be quintessential.
Wow. Big word.
Thank you so much. Spell it.
Quintessential.
That was really good. The offense for the Mariners does have the upper hand. Just like over the last month or so, the Rays are have an 88 WRC plus, like 12 points below league average. They've been below league average all season. There are the heavy hitters, like you mentioned. In August, Caminero had a 188 WRC plus. Julio had a 200, so that's pretty cool. But there's always going to be the tent poles for the offense for the Rays that we know that you have to watch out for. And they tagged the Mariners when they were in Seattle. Brandon Lau had a couple homers. I think Caminero had a home run in that series as well, right? But it ultimately didn't matter because the Mariners swept that series. Do I have that same confidence for them in this one? No, because it's the road. And that's not the way that the Mariners play ball, especially with the Game 2 starter being Drew Rasmussen, who, just like for the funsies, those pitchers' ERAs in the month of August, 107 batters faced, a 1.53 ERA for Drew Rasmussen. He did carve us up. He pitched very well when they were in Seattle. It was a Cal Raleigh 3-run home run off of Griffin Jacks that spoiled a great start from Drew Rasmussen. Opposite Brian Wu, feels good. Feels pretty good. Yes? No? Is it different?
I find it interesting because MLB.com has Luis Castillo listed in game 1, right? They have George listed in game 3.
Oh, do they have TBA?
But there's TBA game 2. So I'm like, why do you have a game 1 and a game 3 starter, but not a game 2 starter? Now, yeah. But that is Brian Wu's spot, and I find it intriguing. I saw that. That's actually if you remember, let's pull back the curtain here. At the start of the podcast, I went, because I was going to say something. I'm like, I'll save it for the podcast.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Are they trying to find a way to reslot this with, maybe give him a little bit of rest because he has pitched so much this year? They're not like they had an off day. Is Emerson Hancock going to start that game? Is that why he hasn't pitched yet? Since he's come back up? I don't know. I truly have no idea why it says TBA on MLB.com. I just went and looked at Divish's Twitter.
Okay.
Did not announce any starters.
Okay.
Nothing there. I haven't looked at Dreyer or Jude. I might be making way too big of a deal out of this. I'm just saying it seems fishy to me that Brian Wu is not listed as the second game starter.
They literally ended his 6-inning streak and said, "You are never allowed to pitch again." They said, "No more. All right, you had your chance. No more fun for Brian Wu on the mound. He's not allowed to pitch anymore."
That's right.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, because, like you said, turn in the rotation, roster resource has it listed that way. If it does end up being a bullpen game with Hancock, and, maybe they call up for September call-ups. Maybe they call up a Blas Castano or a Jonathan D. Yeah. I don't know. That's interesting, though. I would just prefer Brian Wu, and I get that workload management's important, but also don't care. You need to win games for the postseason, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Once you clinch, you can give them a day off.
Right.
So that's my 2 cents.
It's interesting, man. I hope it's not there. I would understand. I would completely understand if that's what they decided to do. But you're in the midst of a playoff race, bro. You have to get there first. We're resting him for the playoffs. You got to get to the playoffs first. And as of right now, the Mariners are clinging onto that last spot in the wild card. Versus Drew Rasmussen, the Mariners haven't really fared that well. Donovan Solano has 3 hits and 4 at-bats versus Drew Rasmussen. Mitch Garver's 2 for 2, batting 1,000, feeling pretty good. JP Crawford's 0 for 7. So Cal Raleigh's 0 for 7.
Really good stuff.
Julio is 2 for 8. So there's just not a lot to be said about the Mariners versus Rasmussen, and I think that kind of speaks true to, well, how he pitched versus the Mariners earlier in the season, albeit at T-Mobile Park,
Yeah.
but still earlier in the season. Game 3, George Kirby on the mound, coming off of a pretty decent start, versus Adrian Hauser. Now Hauser, the Rays got at the trade deadline. Now Hauser, the Rays got at the trade deadline. He's 7-4 with a 2.85 ERA and 66 strikeouts. George, we know the tale of the tape. He has a 3.94 with 103 strikeouts on the year. Mitch Garver has a home run versus Adrian Hauser, and Eugenio Suarez is hitting 318 with 2 home runs and 22 at bats versus Adrian Hauser. So maybe look for Gino to go off a little bit in this one. The Rays really haven't faced George all that much. The person with the most ABs, makes sense, is Yandy Diaz. He is hitting 375 and 8 at bats. So no homers to speak of. Only 5 guys have any at bats versus George. As long as George can go out there and give you another quality start, I think that this is a game that you should probably be able to come away with, even though Hauser has great numbers on the year. But the Mariners offense in that ballpark, they should be able to make some noise.
They tagged Hauser for 4 runs without recording an out back in Seattle, and then promptly took the rest of the game off for the most part. But again,
sounds familiar.
I will say Hauser in August, a 4.85 ERA, not the greatest, not as bad as Shane Baz, but definitely not quite on the Drew Rasmussen level. I had this as a 2-1 series win for the Mariners as well. Similar to the Guardian series, it's you face 2 pretty starters and then 1 really good starter. You need to take advantage of that. The Rays have a pretty decent bullpen. They're going to utilize it when they're up late in a game if they do happen to be in that spot. It's a matter of getting your chances and capitalizing on them early in the game so you don't have to play from behind. The Mariners have done a decent job at playing from behind. I mean, they tagged Hunter Gaddis for 2 runs in the second game against Cleveland. It just ultimately wasn't enough because then you also have to face Cade Smith. And you don't want to tag Garrett Clevenger for 2, but still be down 1 with Fairbanks or Uceta coming into to finish out the game, right? So there's still a chance that they right the ship on the road, maybe win their first series on the road since Detroit before the All-Star break. It's an uphill battle every single time for the Mariners on the road. We just need to see more. The offense needs to be a bit better. I mean, it was fine in Cleveland, but it wasn't good enough ultimately. Obviously, you lost 2 games there. If the offense is a bit better, you probably win all 3. Plain and simple.
Figure it out.
Figure it out.
We are about to learn who this team is. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to learn, are they a playoff team? Are they a division winner? Or are they missing the playoffs by a game or 2 again? We're going to learn. But you're going to have to get through the rest of this road trip first. Now, we said in the last podcast that the Mariners should go, what is it? It's a 9 game. They should go 6-3. But 5-4 is acceptable.
Did we say
you can win the next?
Did we say a record last time?
Maybe I said it on a podcast. Maybe or on a stream. I don't remember. I just know those are words that came out of my mouth at some point. And 6-3 would be good. You can only lose 1 game. You better sweep one of these series if you're going to go 6-3. 5-4, not great, but acceptable. You come home any lower than 500 off this road trip, it's a disaster. And that, my friends, is what I'm worried about. But we'll just have to wait and see. Thank you guys so much for watching episode 221 of the Hit It Here podcast, presented by FanDuel, and go Mariners.